Hello everybody, I've got a very anticipated video for all of you today, or some of you, or I've heard about it in the comments a little bit, at people asking, when are you bringing back a 1 to 500 airport? When are you going to do 1 to 500? And today, guys, it's back. It's finally back. After months of anticipation and quite a lot of work, I bring you a 1 to 500 airport. This being a brand new airport, as you can see, a very different environment from any airport I've ever done before, and potentially, yes, I'll go ahead and say yes, this is the most realistic airport in terms of detail and routes and whatever I've ever done, despite it being fictional still. But without any further rambling, lots to go over, so let's go ahead and dive right in. We'll start over here in front of us at the airport terminal, the main commercial terminal. So I'll go ahead and explain it now. This is Parrot Head Key International Airport, which is a fictional Florida key, which is located out near the Dry Tortugas National Park area to the west of Key West. And this airport's code being PTY. It is Parrot Head Key International Airport. And this airport's kind of, well, at least from a route perspective, American, United, and Delta all are a copy and paste Key West schedule, give or take some frequencies and some aircraft types. But for Allegiant and Frontier, as you all have asked for, these will be up for subscriber routes and route suggestions, if you will. So following this video in the comment section, if you guys have suggestions, or if you would like a Frontier or Allegiant route to your airport from Parrot Head Key, do leave those down in the description, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be featured in the next update for this airport. For this one, I just went ahead and picked some Frontier and Allegiant routes to just be placeholders. And for the most part, Frontier and Allegiant's schedule out of here will be mainly up to subscriber routes. But if you guys are lacking and you don't give me as many as I need, I will just throw in placeholders, as Frontier and Allegiant's schedules out of PTY and lore will be very seasonal and very fluctuating, I guess, dependent on demand and time of the year. With that being said, commercial airlines at this airport as of right now are Frontier, Allegiant, American, Delta, and United, all of which are featured in this update. And I plan on doing some historical updates for this one. Historical sounding crazy, like an early 2000s or so update, kind of like what I did for PTS and what I've done for airports since, or in the past at least. But yeah, so just to give a brief overview of the airport before we go into all the routes. The airport has a commercial terminal over here, and there is the airport maintenance shop where the ops vehicles and the lone de-ice truck stands when it's not in use. Right next to that, we have the Parrot Head Key Fire and Rescue, the fire department for the airport. As you can see, the fire trucks are out because it's a nice day out. Not in real life in Cincinnati, it's kind of raining and windy, pardon. But it's nice. We're in the Florida Keys. We'll make it nice in the theme of this update. And next there, you got a highway that goes by, and goes by the PTY passenger terminal. Over here is a de Havilland Beaver, a DH2. And it's kind of like a park slash monument. If you guys want to create some lore as to why this particular beaver is on display at PTY, you can go right ahead. I haven't created any myself, but yep, got a little park there. Then you have, as featured on most of my airport layouts, we have a signature FBO, which today is very packed. We'll get to later. Got the airport's fuel farm over here, the tower. You've got Sunbird Air Tours, which is, as the name should suggest, aircraft touring company. They take tourists up for a view of the Florida Keys and the Gulf of America. There you have just a private hangar, not really any particular operator out of it, just private hangar. Then over here you've got Tidal Aviation Services, which kind of operates as a maintenance facility and cargo feeder kind of operation, if you will. So PTY is connected to the rest of the Florida Keys and lured by highway, but it is remote enough to where air travel does accompany like a lot of the goods and the imports and exports that come out of this island. So there is a small air cargo operation, and when that does happen, they either come over here to Signature or back to Tidal Aviation. More like larger size cargo and just in means of convenience. As you can see on the highway, there are a lot of trucks going by, doing what truckers do with supplies and goods. But with all of that, of course, the runway layout, we do have parallel runways for the first time out of any of my airports. You have 27 right and 27 left, and on the opposite side you got 9 right and 9 left. 27 left and 9 right are mainly used for general aviation, and in the historical updates, some of the Dash 8 and ATR operations. Some private jets can land there, and some lighter, some like really empty commercial traffic can use it. But for the most part, most traffic will use 27 right, 9 left. Just because it is the longest runway, and it is just long enough to service A321s. Those will, for the most part, be the largest aircraft you see in and out of these updates, with an occasional maybe 757, but of course those have special takeoff and landing performance abilities. Maybe if I get enough 1 to 500 C-17, might get one of those in here for military training, but I do not have a 1 to 500 C-17 at the moment. But with that 8 minutes of rambling and going on, let's get into the update, y'all. Starting over here at the commercial terminal ramp, we'll go ahead and start on the remote stands over here with this American Eagle Embraer 170 operated by Envoy Air. This aircraft arrived in from Charlotte CLT earlier this morning and has a maintenance issue. So they've got a GPU and a maintenance van over here, and it will hopefully be making a return flight to Charlotte later today, but as of right now, that is looking unlikely. And over here in this part, in the more historical updates where PTS has more regional jet traffic, these will be hard stands for those, but for the more modern times, it's just kind of an overflow ramp slash, it can be used for like E-jets and CRJs, but for the most part it will just be a remote stand area due to its proximity with gate A1 over here, which would be kind of tight for aircraft to turn in and out of, and for tug operations. But anywho, moving on to gate A1, we have an Allegiant Air Airbus A320 with the catering truck knocked over. Pardon me 1 second while I fix this. You didn't see that. All right, Allegiant Airbus A320. This aircraft arrived in from Cincinnati CVG and will be making the return to Cincinnati CVG. Gate A2 pushing back now. We have this Frontier Airbus A321 in the spot, the Jaguar tail. This aircraft arrived in from Denver, Colorado, and is being pushed back for the return to Denver. We'll go ahead and hop over here to the hold short line where we have a Cessna 172 holding short of 27 right, and it will be taking off on 27 left bound for Marathon, Florida. Just a short hop up the Keys there. Taking off on runway 27 right, we have the Delta 737-900. This aircraft arrived in from none other than the Mega Hub in Atlanta, ATL, and that is where it is returning to right now. Delta only operates the two destinations out of Key West in real life, and therefore Parrot Head Key here only has the two routes, being Atlanta and LaGuardia. And LaGuardia in this will be served by the A220-100. Atlanta will be swapped back and forth between the 717 and the 737-900. And moving on here, we have a orange and white Cessna Skymaster. This aircraft is based at the airport and will be making a flight up to Jacksonville, Florida. Quite the long flight for this small guy, but it will be able to make it, no doubt about it. We have, going back to the gate here, we have A3 with this Frontier A320 Neo in the Wilbur the White-tailed Deer tail. This aircraft arrived in from Austin, Texas, and it will be departing for Norfolk, Virginia, ORF after the turn. As you can see, the water service is being taken care of, and first bags are being loaded on the A320 for the return, well, not a return flight rather, but the flight to Norfolk. We have an empty gate A4 where Delta had departed from just a bit ago. But next door, not so empty. We have this American Airbus A321neo just being hooked up to the tug for the pushback and return flight to Dallas Fort Worth. American operating Dallas, Charlotte, Raleigh, or not Raleigh, sorry. Miami, Dallas, and Charlotte out of PTY right now. This being the mainline service to Dallas. Every now and then this will be swapped to a 737-800, but today it is on the Neo, which is the more frequent aircraft type of the two, but just figured I'd mention that there. And at gate A1, the kind of regional stand off to the side here, we have this American Eagle CRJ 700 CRJ 900 rather, operated by PSA. This aircraft arrived in from Miami and will be making the return to Miami. Bags for the return flight are being loaded on now. Next in line for takeoff, we have this Douglas DC-3. This aircraft arrived in from Miami, Opelika, and it will be making a flight off to Boca Raton, Florida. And because of the sheer amount of private aircraft, and just because they're kind of residents here, they didn't necessarily have flights today, we've got a rescue air ambulance helicopter, which is a, I want to call it a Blackhawk, but not really sure what Herpa Wings based that helicopter design on. It's interesting. But it didn't have a flight today. It's just remaining on the ramp. Same with that DH-2 Beaver and this Cessna 172 right there. But next in line, this just arrived in, this Frontier A321 in the Otto the Owl tail. This aircraft arriving from Windsor Locks, and it will be departing to Syracuse, New York after the turn. Yeah, nothing much else to say there. Like I said earlier, if you guys have Frontier suggestions, or if Frontier flies to your airport and you want to see them from PTY to your airport, please leave a comment below. I will try to accommodate as many as I can in the following updates to come. But for now, once again, just placeholder routes. These aren't really steadfast, but maybe we'll have some more permanent ones by the next update. But moving on, hopping all over the place today. But going back to the signature ramp, we have this private CRJ 200, former Eurowings CRJ 200 at that. This aircraft arrived in from Wilmington, Delaware, and will be departing for Pontiac, Michigan after the passengers are loaded up. There we have a green Cessna Skymaster, the fuel truck pulling up to it now. This aircraft arrived in from North Key Largo, or the Ocean Reef Club Airport up in North Key Largo, and it will be returning up there after it is fueled. Next door, we have a red Citation 560 XL. This aircraft arrived in from Orlando, MCO. And next to that, we have another Citation 560 XL, this one being a blue striped one. Ooh, very fancy. This aircraft arrived in from none other than Cincinnati Lunken Municipal Airport, or LUK. Got to include that route somehow in all these airports, I do. Next, we got the big boy on the signature ramp today, this U.S. Coast Guard C-130 Hercules. This is being an H model Hercules. This aircraft arrived in from St. Petersburg, Clearwater, or Coast Guard Air Station Clearwater, and is just doing training and coastal patrols off the Florida Keys today, and stopped by Signature for some gas before they continue their operation. Over there, we've got a Cessna 172 just turning in from, this actually arrived in from Naples, Florida. Very long flight for that guy again. Long hops over the ocean for these Cessnas, but they can do it. Just arrived in from Naples and will be overnighting on the signature ramp. And the last commercial aircraft of the update, this United Airlines Boeing 737-800 operating the Newark service today, the only United route as of right now. Maybe in the future I'll add Chicago, but as of right now I'm literally mimicking Key West with the American Delta and United routes. So for now, coming in from Newark, and we'll make the turn for Newark. And over here at the Sunbird Air Tours, we do have an active aircraft, this yellow and black de Havilland Beaver, taxiing out for a short tour flight around the Keys. We'll maybe head out to the Dry Tortugas National Park and show off some of the local scenery for the tourists. And with that, just a couple more Cessnas and Piper Cubs over here. And with all that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that'll do it for the update. Thank you very much for watching, as always. Enjoyed making this layout, and I'm happy to finally bring it to you folks on YouTube. Of course, if you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you haven't already for whatever reason, make sure you hit subscribe. Just passed 400 subscribers recently. Thank you all very much for that. It's been a long time coming, but better late than never, of course. And if you have anything else you want to see from PTY here in the future, don't forget to let me know in the comments, along with all of your subscriber route recommendations. And with that, everybody, that concludes the update today. Hope you all have a great one, and I will see you in the next video.